Taylor University is a private Christian liberal arts university in Upland, Indiana, with a student body of just under 1,300. Majors that range from education to film and media production and communication. Our goal in the film and media production program is to create student storytellers. So my role here in the department as the engineer is to kind of research and figure out where the industry's at with equipment and where it's going, and talking to some industry insiders. So where Hollywood's at. We have a lot of technology, and we do a lot of coursework with that technology. Yeah, so I got connected with OWC about 11 years ago. We transitioned one of our labs away from PC to an iMac-based lab. Look at transitioning our studio away from standard definition to high definition. We were looking for some type of network-attached storage where the students could come back and ingest their material. We wouldn't have to buy a large amount of those S/S cards. Each camera could have 2 or 3. Actually ordered the Callisto first. I believe it was 8 terabytes. The product worked so well that we started finding other issues where, man, it would be nice if we could throw this on the Callisto, but we'd start filling it up pretty fast. So we expanded that version about 6 months later, added another 8 terabytes. There really hasn't been any bumps in the road or anything with it. I mean, no issues. It's implemented and set up well. Our original Jupiter that we put in 2012 has been running and plugged in, and really have not touched the unit since then, other than changing some of the drive parameters as far as the RAID goes. And we installed it 2 months prior to the students returning for fall semester.
Decided to come to Taylor because I really thought that the film program was very strong. We've got a lot of great equipment, very strong system to work on, and a lot of great professors and people here as well. We use the Jupiter system for all of our ingesting, so bringing footage in from the field and audio in and getting it from our cards and our cameras into our system. We also use the Jupiter system for turning in assignments and storing a lot of our old projects.
So we started, logging in, 15, 20 users just as a test, and start pulling and pushing 200 gig worth of files back and forth, and no issues with speed. With the connected users, it wasn't dropping. My transfer speeds weren't slowing down when I was trying to, push some files to and then pulling from them at the same time. So it was a overall good experience. The students having the ability to collaborate is really essential in our workflow. So having the ability to access those files, not just in our facility, but they can be anywhere on campus. So they can be on their laptop, having the ability to not have to drag an external hard drive with them, and then share, back and forth, say, hey, I'd made this change, take a look at it, and having the entire team be able to see it in real time is really important. I think other programs and universities would benefit from the Jupiter. One, from a cost point, it really is a great value per terabyte for a network-attached solution. It also is extremely easy to manage, so you don't have to be an IT pro with coding background to use it kind of out of the box. And OWC does a really great job with the Jupiter team as far as kind of pre-configuring. They're going to ask you a set of questions, and basically if you're just going to plug it in and use it as a network-attached storage, it can be ready to roll right the second you put it in the rack and plug it in.
Our typical workflow is to ingest to the server once we get back on campus after shooting out in the field. We'll ingest up to our server, and then we'll go to a lab, pull that footage onto a hard drive, sort it into our folders, and get our file structure set up. And then we'll edit off of our hard drives as opposed to editing off of the computer's hard drive to keep things separated and speed up our process.
So I have quite a few devices from OWC that we use on a daily basis, either as a department or the students in general. We even start the students out in one of their intro courses, film and video production. And in that course, the students pay a course fee. Through that course fee, we purchase them a on-the-go external hard drive. In their backpack, they've got their on-the-go drive that they're storing, either archiving projects that they've worked on or using it for other coursework.
When we first got it, it was great to get a mobile drive that we could carry around, move from computer to computer. It worked well. It was nice to be able to put projects on them, and then if I needed to move from one edit suite to another, to have that, portability and opportunity.
So this spring break, I actually got a chance to go to Greece to make a documentary. And I took one of the OWC drives with me as my backup drive and was able to copy all of my footage on there. It was nice knowing that there's a drive there, backup, if something happened to my computer, that all of my footage was still there.
The Thunderbolt 2 dock that we're using gave us an ability to move the equipment away from the desk itself. Knowing I needed to travel a distance, you know, I get multiple connections. I got HDMI, I've got the DisplayPort, I've got Thunderbolt, I've got USB and Ethernet. I know I needed to get all those connections back to the Mac Pro, and that gave me the ability to put the Thunderbolt dock on the Edit Suite table, be able to connect all my USB as far as the color correction panels, the mouse and the keyboard, my Ethernet, because it was on that wall and not further back in the room. I ended up purchasing the drive docks for a couple of our edit suites, and then for my office in particular. Instead of having additional storage for backups, it's nice to be able to assign a couple hard drives to those teams and say, okay, here you're responsible for creating your backup of your footage, so that in case something would happen, we can always rebuild from these backups. Trying to teach them that they need to be responsible for their backups, even personally, kind of worked well. So we use the drive dock in the edit suites, and the students have a drive, they drop it in. The second they come back with footage, they're going to put it on the internal RAID, and then they're going to put it on that external drive also. The support for me is essential. And it's really great because they're really fast. They'll call you whenever they get the solution, a couple minutes later. I'd rather spend time being creative than sitting for 3 hours troubleshooting something that's gone wrong, or the fact that I could have bought one device but bought something different because I didn't have somebody to talk to. That's one of the advantages I like about having a personal sales representative that knows the product. Yeah, so being a creative professional and working in film and media, it's a machine that I really need, a higher-end machine, and I need a machine that is going to last, because it's something I don't want to replace every 2 or 3 years. I want to get my value out of the initial investment. OWC has been critical in allowing us to do that with some of our 2012 and even 2010 Mac Pro towers. Managing just under 70 Apple computers a lot of times means that I don't have the fiscal budget to replace those on a regular rotation. The students are creating more and more files, and the files are larger and larger. Instead of shooting in 1920 by 1080 HD, we're shooting in 4K and 6K and 8K, to where a minute of video is now taking somewhere around 300, 400 gig per minute. And needing storage to be able to support that, I don't foresee the need for storage going down anytime soon. So it's really nice to know that we've got a partner with OWC. We've got future expansion when I need it.